signed a 5-year, $255 million extension. That means that annually, he's now the highest player in NFL history at $51 million a year. Mike Freeman of USA Today says that it's a step forward for the black quarterback in the NFL. Freeman writes, quote, "In NFL history, there have been other black men who could have been Jalen Hurts, but racism kept that from happening. We will never forget that past. We shouldn't. Hurts in this deal shows the promise of what can be." Shannon, what are your thoughts?
I love it. He's absolutely right. It's good to see a black, if only for a week, a month, and word of Luther Vandross, if only for one night. A black man is the highest paid player in the NFL.
Not sure that's what Luther had.
No, I didn't what he had in mind. But if only for one night, Skip.
Okay.
We understand, Skip, the process, but I'm old enough to remember, Skip. I remember Marlon Briscoe, who's the first black to start a professional game, played for my Broncos in 1968.
Yep.
The Magician, Jefferson Street, Joe Gilliam. Actually had Terry Bradshaw on the bench for a hot second in Pittsburgh. Shaq Harris, I know Shaq personally. I know Warren Moon. But, Skip, we just had something great happen. In the Super Bowl, 2 blacks started. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. We've had black quarterbacks to win the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl MVP. Doug Williams was the first. MVPs. So we have come, and Mike Freeman is absolutely right. There are other blacks that could have played the quarterback position, but they were forced to change positions or not play in the National Football League. Warren Moon, who had to go run the Rose Bowl, had to go win 5 Grey Cups before Houston, Texas. The Houston Oilers gave him an opportunity to play.
Yep.
So we see the progress when given an opportunity, what the black quarterback can do. We know what we're saying. Oh, man, he can't think, he can't process information. He can't think on his feet fast enough. Sometimes that's what it was. Sometimes, Skip, some owners didn't want a black to be the face of their organization.
That's true.
Whatever the case may be, to see the progression that have transpired with the black quarterback in the NFL is nothing short of a miracle. It's nothing short of given the opportunity. You see what they can do? They can do it. They can win at the highest level. They can throw from the pocket. Because it used to be skipping, oh, man, he can't throw from the pocket. Now, you want guys like Patrick Mahomes that can get outside of the pocket and make plays, or like a Jalen Hurts. That's what makes Joe Burrow special. That's what makes Josh. Because now all the quarterbacks, what can they do, Skip? The Trevor Lawrences. All of them get Justin Herbert. All of them get outside to make plays. The thing they used to criticize the black quarterback for.
Absolutely.
Now the white quarterback has them.
Yes.
Boom. So, Mike Freeman, you're absolutely right. It's good to see that the hard work and given the opportunity that these young black men are doing great things. Kudos. Kudos to you, Jalen Hurts. Kudos for you for having an all-female team from communication to agent to whatever the course may be. I'm happy for Jalen Hurts, and I'm happy for the young black men that play this position and the opportunity they got. So, hey, each one teach one.
All beautifully said by you, a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, I was on the precipice of this back in the 70s, and I got to see it from the inside out.
Right.
All the horrors of it.
A lot different back then.
It was so different. So I've told you the story. I had an idea because I thought Doug Williams, young man at Grambling State University, would be the first overall pick in the draft, and he should have been. And I convinced my boss, my sports editor at the LA Times in 1977, let me go to Grambling and spend a week with him and Coach Robinson, Eddie Robinson, greatest, you could argue he's the greatest coach ever, college football. And he said, sure. Are you sure he's going to be the first overall pick? I said, I'm not sure, but he should be, because just look at the numbers he's putting up, albeit against that competition.
And he was prototypical. He was a drop back. Doug could not run you. At his prime, he could not run you now.
We're talking about 6 feet 5 inches, 230 pounds. I couldn't draw him up in a lab better than
with a cannon.
Than with a cannon. It's exactly what all those white GMs were looking for at the combine. You know, this is it.
This is it.
He's just the wrong color, right?
Yep.
But he's got all the right tools and everything. He's not a dual threat.
Right.
To your point, can't run, won't run, doesn't run.
Right.
So I spend the week, and I'm shell-shocked to find that the NFL is rejecting him. And I called several GMs, but I've told you one very prominent GM, may he rest in peace. I'm not going to quote him.
Right.
except anonymously. But he told me, no, Doug Williams, we're not interested because he does not have the mental capability of playing at our level. How many times did you hear that?
Right.
Okay. He falls to 17th. He goes to Tampa. He was pretty good in Tampa for really bad football teams.
They were bad.
And then, thank you, God, he winds up with Washington in that Super Bowl. I was there to cover it, and he breaks through and
Then they went to the NFC Championship game and lost to Dallas in '79, right?
79.
Or 78.
Yes. Tampa Bay did.
Tampa Bay did,
before he went to Washington.
Yes.
They did. They lost to Dallas. And that was no shame because that was a really good Dallas team. Yes, I covered that game. So, but my point is, when he got to Washington, they broke through against your Denver Broncos, and it was a wipeout. And was Doug the MVP?
Doug MVP.
Yes, he
Remember
was.
he threw those 4 touchdowns in the second quarter.
Okay. Thank you. So the point is, from that moment forward, I became such a big fan of Coach Rob that Chuck Knox left the next year from the Rams to go coach OJ and the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
He was sick of Carol Rosenblum, the owner. So they're looking for a head coach. And I asked my sports editor, could I please write an editorial piece, an opinion piece, that the Rams should go hire Eddie Robinson as the next coach? And he said, no, you're too young. I'm still 24 or whatever I was. You're too young to write an opinion piece. No, I'm not. Trust me, this is a great opinion because it's true.
So you had hot takes way back then, huh?
I had one of those. And he said it was too hot to handle, right? No, we're not going to do that. Even though the LA Times in the 70s was a very progressive paper because LA was a pretty progressive place when it came to race relations, even though they'd had their big problems and would have more. Okay, but the point is, now that I sit back from knowing, oh, and by the way, I covered Shaq Harris because he was the first consistent starter in the National Football League. And did he ever go through hell for that?
Yeah.
Okay, now it's come sort of full circle.
Went to grab under Coach Rob.
Another one, yeah. So now I'm looking at this. Here's where we are today. I'm looking at the top paid quarterbacks in the National Football League and total value of their deals. And I'm saying, wait a second. 6 of the top 7 are black quarterbacks because it goes Mahomes, it goes now Jalen is vaulted up to number 2. There's Russell Wilson, there's Kyler, there's Deshaun, there's Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
6 of the top 7. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking, well, wait a second. A week from Thursday night, we're going to have a draft, and the top 3 quarterbacks off the board are going to be black quarterbacks. And maybe 4 of the top 5 will be, heck, maybe 4 straight. It could be. Not sure what's going to happen to Will Levis, but he seems to be falling as the draft, and I'm not a fan.
Well, we absolutely know for the first 2 going to be black.
First 2, and probably the first 3.
Right.
Okay. My point is, that's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now I'm looking at my list of quarterbacks drafted in the first round, and it's up to 25. Well, that's some progress, I would have to say.
Yeah.
And when I look at quarterbacks taken first overall, Michael Vick, Jamarcus Russell, Cam, Jameis, Kyler. Okay, well, that's some progress. So you got those were first overalls.
And that's in the last 20, basically the last 20 years.
20 years. And then I'm looking at second overalls. You got Donovan McNabb, and you got RG3. And then third overall, Steve McNair, Achilles Smith, Vince Young, Trey Lance. I'm not sure about what Trey's fate is going to be, but again, he went third overall.
Right.
This is huge progress.
Yes.
Black quarterbacks have broken through to the point where now it's not only commonplace, it's desirable to have a black quarterback, right?
Yep.
Lamar won the MVP.
Yep.
A couple of years back.
Hey, did you know, Skip, he threw for more, even though, he's not a sure pocket passer. Did you know he had 36 touchdowns? That's more than the pocket passer that critiqued this play had ever thrown in the season. His best is 34.
Which pocket passer was that?
Ben.
Oh, Ben, that's right. Okay, good point. Very good point. Okay, you're just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, bingo, touche. I got it. But the big picture takeaway here is it's happening right before your very eyes that all of a sudden this league is like, yeah, I want a black quarterback. Well, why not?
Right.
Because there were 2 of them facing off against each other in the Super Bowl.
It's a copycat league.
It's a copycat league.
What happened in college? Nobody wanted the black player. They went to HBCUs, and then they messed around in USC, went down to Alabama, and beat the brakes off of Bama in Tuscaloosa.
Oh. Thanks to Sam Bam Cunningham.
Sam the Bam.
Yep.
Get me a couple of them.
Yep.
Oof.
Whoosh. There it went. And here we are.
Because most of the Hall of Famers early on came from Grambling, Southern, Alcorn, Maryland Eastern Shore, South Carolina State, FAM, Bethune,
pipeline.
Yes.
I got it.
Al was one of the first ones. Al like, hey, you can play football. Al say, I don't
Davis.
care.
Yeah.
Al Davis, yes, in the AFL.
Yeah. And listen, my man Barry Switzer at the University of Oklahoma, he says, no, if Texas doesn't want them, we'll take them.
Exactly.
And watch what we start doing to Texas. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Jalen.
Yes.
And
Congrats.
all the quarterbacks.
Absolutely. Congratulations. And I know that he will carry this mantle very well.
Yep.
Gentlemen, let's move back to the playoffs in the NBA when we come back. Russell Westbrook, has he actually been the key to the Clippers' success? Eddie House joins us next. He's going to help us break it down. It's a discussion you don't want to miss. We'll be right back.